Ernesto Miranda has been arrested for rape and robbery and is being questioned. He is now in the interrogation room.
Listen here, Ernesto. I know what happened, and I want you to confess to it. Write it down.
I no speak English.
That is bull. I know you speak English. Write it down.
But I don't speak English.
You just spoke English.
But I'm telling you, man, that chick said yes, and then she gave me her pocketbook. I don't know what this rape crap is. She was like, yes.
She said yes to you and then just handed her pocketbook back. Just for like, here's payment for what you just gave me.
Okay, well maybe she said don't stop.
There's a big difference. If you said don't or stop. You raped her, you stole her shit, write it down.
I don't write English.
Write it in Spanish.
How do you spell C?
C.
Where do I start right now?
The top.
Wait a minute. This thing you hear at the top says I fully understand my rights. What rights do I fully understand?
You have the right to confess on that piece of paper.
But what if I don't want to? I mean, that's like a pretty crappy right.
You either write it or you go to prison right now, one or the other.
Okay. I did it. Have I written enough of this yet?
Fill the board.
Fill the board. Is this Simpsons?
Just keep writing. Write it bigger.
Marker's dying.
Just keep writing. All right, quit.
Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that police officer never told me anything I told him would be used against me in court. And he said I understood my rights, but I don't even know what the Constitution is. I don't know what my rights are.
You're still guilty. You should know what your rights are. Ignorance is not an excuse.
In the case of Arizona versus Miranda, the United States Supreme Court ruled that when a defendant is under arrest and being interrogated by the police, and the defendant must be made clearly and unequivocally aware of their rights, to include the right to remain silent.
Along with the right to remain silent, the defendant must be made aware of that anything they say will be used against them in court.
The defendant must be made aware of the right to consult with a lawyer. Along with this, the defendant must also be clearly told they have the right to have a lawyer present.
If the defendant is poor and unable to afford a lawyer and still wants one, the court must appoint that defendant a lawyer.
If at any point in the interrogation the defendant asks to, or invokes the right to speak to a lawyer, the interview is over until the defendant contacts the lawyer. If the defendant invokes the right to remain silent, the police department cannot interrogate him unless he reapproaches the police.
As a result of this Supreme Court ruling, you now have the following rights when you are being interrogated in custody by the police. 1. You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement. 2. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. 3. You have the right to consult with an attorney or have an attorney present with you while you're being questioned. And 4. If you cannot afford an attorney and want one, one will be appointed by the court before questioning.